Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Sound check. Hello? 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 Hello, hello? Sir, sir,
Mic test. So if we can call our friends or colleagues outside and for us to settle down so that we can start on time. We have a few minutes before we start. So may I invite everyone if we can just stand up a little bit and we can do some stretching so that we don't fall asleep. I know it's the most difficult hour of the day. So please everyone, can we all stand up? Okay, to start, please find a partner. Please find a partner. Yes, please find a partner. Okay. Yes, okay. Okay. Yes. But we cannot do this exercise if you don't have a partner. So please find Okay na? Baguio and also touching on the so noon Indigenous Dr. Harry Bangladesh. He earned his PhD in International Development Studies. He was magna cum laude this 2023 from the Institute of Development, Research and Development Policy from Ruhr University in Bochum, Germany. His thesis was on emergence of indigenous activists, indigeneity questions of the Chittagong Hill Tracts in Bangladesh. He finished his Master of Arts in International Community Development from the Victoria University in Melbourne, Australia. He finished his Masters of Science in Microbiology in Bangladesh and also Bachelor of Science with honors in microbiology also in Bangladesh. He has garnered several international awards and scholarships as well, including Australian Award Scholarship for Master's Program at the Victoria University in Australia, and also the Bread for the World Scholarship for PhD program from the Bread for the World in Berlin, Germany. He will be presenting his paper on neither at home nor in the field, self-reflexivity and bioethnography for undoing colonialism and indigenous studies in Bangladesh. Dr. Hari Purna, you have 40 minutes for your presentation, and then afterwards we'll open the floor for questions and answers. The floor is yours, Hari. Doing
Yeah, can you hear me?
How we see you?
Um,
We can.
yeah, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Helen. Be sure. Um,
maybe sing us a song?
Hi, Helen. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, he's okay.
Hello? Not sure. What is the problem?
Please give us a minute, Harry. They're just fixing the
Yeah.
technology. Can you speak
Sorry.
again?
Yeah, can you hear me now? No?
Oh, yeah. We can hear you via Zoom, but we don't hear you on site. Indeed. Okay. Can you try to speak again?
Yeah. Is it clear now? Loud and clear?
Is it? Hello, Harry.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you speak.
No?
Please be patient. Patience is a virtue. So
Yeah, from Zoom we can hear very clear.
One moment.
our participants in the Zoom and online, we're just fixing some technical glitches on site. So please give us some moment. Thank you. Meanwhile, Harry, you might want to move to a place where there's better lighting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. That's good. But can you hear us? One more time, Harry, can you please greet our participants on site and also our participants online? Okay. We still can't hear you. Oh. Oo nga, tapos... Pwede ba yan? Unless it... One more time, Harry, can you please say something? Wala talaga. Harry, 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 Harry.
Yeah.
Engineer Mernal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can tell you about his
Oh,
echo.
oh, yeah, that's all right. Okay. You can hear me, but there's echo. And then your voice is not projecting to the on-site. So the problem is really about uh, making sure that the voice from people in the video to be projected on-site.
Maybe you could restart.
We can hear you, Engineer Mernal.
You can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Marina.
Not free.
It's weird. No. Can we try?
Try speaking again.
We're just trying other alternatives. We're not connecting speakers to the computer just so people on site can hear you. People in Zoom can hear and see you very clearly, but we cannot hear you in the room. I mean, on site.
Yeah. So okay.
Okay. So please, can you please try to speak, Harry? Okay. Ooh. Okay. So once again, without further ado, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Harry Purna for his presentation. And thank you very much, everyone, for being patient. Harry, the floor is yours. You are echoing. Hi. Yes. Yes, we can hear you clearly now. Yeah.
Before the British colonization in 1860, it was ruled by the indigenous king, free from this outsider rule. So there's a little bit background of him. And here, by the in between space, actually, I would like to highlight by this time positionality of indigenous researchers in the academia, also in their society. So, traditionally, the indigenous studies is the study of others. As Dr. Tripura discussed or presented earlier, and it is dominated by the outsider researchers in the colonial time. So those indigenous researchers who raise voice against dominant understanding of indigeneity, uh, the dominant methodologies in social science, the methods, they find themselves in the academia, in a situation that cannot be called as a home or comfortable environment for them. So basically, the home is for them the society and the places which considered as field by the outside resources how they define the field. But at the same time, as insider and indigenous researchers, in a way to really track our identities, then we also find um, in a situation we cannot say we are the epistemology that sorry.
Slides or not?
No, 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 no. So, as the indigenous researchers or this insider, we do also have the different identities. We do belong to particular ethnic group, nationality, gender, political affiliation, and many other identity categories. And we also belong to like particular generation or age group. They are different from our parents and grandparents. So because of that, the worldview that actually we have, I view that this cannot be considered as uh, came from entirely from the indigenous society, especially if we look at our schooling um, through by the dominant epistemology. So, um, so the question of like the epistemology or that originates from so that's actually like how I try to situate our position like yes, indigenous researchers in the dominant social science. Sorry. Sorry. It's not moving. No, no. The slide is not moving, I think. Okay. So I try to my position basically database. So
Hey, slide is not moving. No, no. I from in my computer is not moving. How about there, Helen?
It's not moving from our side.
Yes,
Okay.
that's okay.
Can you see it? Is it moving now?
Yes, Yes,
Okay.
outline. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Uh, divided my presentation into four. First of all, I will share my experience of encounter of coloniality that is grounded in my life experience. Germany, how that lead to lead me to the deeper understanding. Then I will try to talk about how I use the water order to exercise. Finally, I will try to talk about the challenges and or way forward uh, to do the deeper practice in academia and yoga. Although I studied in microbiology in Bangladesh, many of my indigenous friends they studied in sociology and anthropology. So, I was actually not really unfamiliar about the indigenous studies in Bangladesh. So, during that time in 2000, from 2000 to 2006, basically we indigenous students and also indigenous people, we don't have access to the literature or the books and journals written by the scholar on the Chidongbil tribes or indigenous histories. So I came to know actually or get access to this body of literature when I moved to Australia for my uh, MA studies in international community development. So that made me realize that the current or the traditional practice of doing research, like the structure-based, it's basically focused the elite or the academic. Yes, and actually we start on the development world. For the third world, for indigenous people, the research, they don't have the access to their research. So the use of the knowledge is actually basically questionable, or the use of the knowledge for the benefit of the indigenous people. So there is also language barrier too. Most of the indigenous people they don't speak English, they don't understand the English reading. So almost all the literature they are written in scientific research they are written in English. So there's another barrier. And there is also the issues of identity too. What I discovered there. Since I got the access to this body of literature, I was so familiar with the style of writing and the positionality or the politics of this writer. So if I know the name of the writer and their topic, often I can actually say how will they start, what evidence they actually will bring to support this argument, and how will they finish. So the research identity, there's also, I mean, uh, a matter of discussion in the politics of knowledge productions or the scientific research. And then what before my PhD journey, uh, uh, emerging and anthropologists in Bangladesh. So it was on August 4, 2014, before my journey to Germany. So he was referring one of the indigenous anthropologists and exactly saying this quote like something referring like saying like, you know, uh, X might be like a better anthropologist than many of the scholars who have done research in literature. However, it will be difficult for him to receive proper academic recognitions since he belongs to the Sidong-Vilchaks and one of the Pari communities. So, the marginality of insider of indigenous researchers in the academic scene. So, in my PhD studies, also I got to know the decolonial perspective written by the indigenous and non-indigenous scholars like David Smith, Mignolo, Rosfigal, and also Alatas. Usai, one of the very earlier decolonial scholar, although he is not, he don't get, I mean, the recognition what actually he deserved because of his also the same non-Western as non-Western or scholars from this southern side. And also this, as Dr. Tripura mentioned before, so the colonial, the construction of indigenous people, the inception of colonization, written by the colonial administrator or travelers or early ethnographers. So basically, there is a politics of doing research and presenting indigenous people. So one of the reference point of this is like the civilizing nations and also indigenous people. They are presented as wild, savage, barbaric, primitive, children of nature, and so on. There's the during the colonial time how they justify their colonization in the Chitong pictures. And it was also the similar case if we read the literature on indigenous in India and elsewhere in the world. So how the I mean the politics of this presentation and doing research in Chitong pictures is not it's an isolated case. It relates also with the broader literature of indigenous studies too. So here we can actually questions actually. This is not the incidental, and it's there is the system of tradition of knowledge production in the West actually that justify that's somehow relate with this colonial colonialism at that time. So from the Foucauldian or from the perspective of Foucault, it's like the interrelations between the knowledge and power, how the power actually that create the knowledge and also how the knowledge support this colonial power to rule these indigenous people and other communities. And during the Western period, there is also the continuity of this body of knowledge productions and also the style of presentations. And there is also new editions during the Pakistan period. So to justify the top-down development approach like this Capitalian and other development like paper mills and other economic development activities, which were basically top-down, to justify that created the conception like this, indigenous people are too backward to to do their own development or something like that. And in the Bangladesh period, there is the conception of terrorists, Bengali killer, because of this insurgency period at that time. And recently, there is the introductions of the migrant. So basically, to deny the rights and recognition of indigenous people. So there are, I mean, there is the politics of doing research and presentations of indigenous people. So this is the same. So, the colonial construction of the Chudong Mutuals is also the same. How they produce the knowledge and also how the knowledge actually created the socio-political marginalization of indigenous people in the Chudong tracks. So what I did as a decolonial practices is when I was doing my PhD, so I try actually to switch the knowledge borrowing from this decolonial um, to situate the uh, Western knowledge with as neutral, objective, and the universal knowledge. So this is actually to justify our insider and subjective aspect of knowledge productions in the academy. So to me also, the use of category like culture, ethnicity, uh, uh, as like the methodological essentialism. So there's also the related to this colonial production of knowledge and this coloniality of knowledge. So I try to avoid this and try to do this anti-essentialism and ethnographic presentations of society frozen in time, or basically introduction of the temporality in mind or the social conception of change in my research. And also try to include the concept of others, decolonization, captive mind. Basically, he talks about this. He wrote on this captive mind. So basically, to him is what about as indigenous? We are not against the knowledge or the methodologies they are used in this uh, traditional or this dominant academic practice. But what the argument here is, uh, uh, when we check the theories or methodologies or the framework for the criticality and creativity. So this is not just checking like the one framework and then putting this into the another context. So this is also related to the indigenization of these dominant theories or methodologies. So we have to devise this in relation to our cultural, historical, or social context of the study. So I also try doing this autoethnography. I also try my own experience, my own way of knowing the sociality and also the indigeneity of the cultures in my research. So here is how this autobiographical approach actually relate to these practices. Basically, biographical is there's anti-essentialism, and non-fixity or fixation in nature. So it actually recognizes these multiple identities research participants belong to certain ethnicity or nationality, gender, political affiliation, all these possible identities. Then also the temporality or the trajectory of people and how actually the becoming of someone else through the trajectory of life, and also the intersections of this biography history in the society. So the idea is the individual is not like the something like the atomic. So whatever he experienced, there is also the historical and certain resources. So the public, the private crisis of the private, the problem is related to this problem of the broader society of the history. The another good thing of this biographical research is as a host to this traditional research in ethnography and in anthropology and sociology, where basically the people or the agent, they are the passive agents. So by using this culture, authenticity, it is conceptualizing in such way that the culture and ethnicity, they have their own power and they actually force the people to do something else. So the biographical research, there's actually this opportunity. And the other good things also for the biographical research is it actually presents the research participants or the research with their own narratives and also the unheard voices. So, in a way, it actually against the dominant representation of the indigenous people and also against the suppressive structure of the political system where indigenous people are living. So, the challenges and some of the challenges and way forward is decolonial practice is what I think is to introduce anti-extractivist approach to research. So that means in academia and beyond academia, all of the research they also have to their audience also has to be the indigenous people, not only this uh, Western scholar or the developed people from the developed countries. So, as a decolonial practice, we also must try to write indigenous or local languages so that the research, the indigenous society can benefit from the research, or they can the findings of the research. So the translation of scientific knowledge from English to indigenous language is just another issue. But what I observe or realize is also because of this schooling at dominant worldviews, us indigenous scholars were also colonized by this knowledge or the worldviews of the others. So, so basically, in the future, many of the since we are many of the we indigenous scholar we are the first generation, but perhaps in the future we'll see the indigenous scholar who are doing research like the non-indigenous. So there could be also a challenge for us to encounter or to criticize in the future. And the last point is the indigenous people, they are not the homogeneous. So depending on their culture, history, and also the locations and other main things. So the also the available indigenous methodologies or there are originated in Australia or in Canada or New Zealand or other places. We might also critically engage with these when we want to apply like the passage on track or India and also in Nepal and somewhere else. Um, and we must also have to acknowledge that there is also not a single colonial epistemologies depending on the context. There are also the ways also supported the colonial this structure or the coloniality or colonialism of indigenous people in that particular place. So, I think I should finish here and I can discuss actually the questions and answers session. So, yeah, Ellen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hari Purna. So yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. Um, I'm not going to attempt to summarize or repeat what he has said, but there are just a few things that I wanted to highlight in terms of. So you mentioned about access to to education in general, and in particular physical access to literatures, structural access as well, including, for instance, language barriers, and of course the politics of knowledge production, whose knowledge counts, what body of knowledge is scientific enough, what body of knowledge matters. So because if you don't, as you have said, if you don't speak the language, then your knowledge doesn't count. If you don't write according to standard, if it doesn't pass peer review, within the prescribed Western and Eurocentric standard, then your knowledge is not scientific enough. And I like I like the presentation about that research is not neutral. Actually, it's a process of it's an intentional process of changing history, and it's an active process of promotion and raising the voices of the subaltern, in this case, the indigenous peoples. And you also mentioned about methodologies that are non-extractive, um, that we are not against, of course, these traditional and Western methodologies, but we have to revise them according to indigenous people's context and realities, as you have done in the Chittagong Hill tracks. And the last point that I wanted to highlight from your presentation is who is the audience? Who benefits from all of this knowledge production? Is it only that, and I think this is also an ongoing discussion, even in the Indigenous Studies program in the University of the Philippines. We have a lot of this kind of discussions, like where do all of this knowledge go to? Do we only do we only produce them so that we, in the end, we get our diplomas in the PhD program? So thank you very much again, Dr. Hari Purna, and we are now opening the floor for questions or for any reflections for those of us who are attending in person, and also for those who are in Zoom. Maybe we can check first if there are questions in the Zoom. No, none? Okay. How about our colleagues who are here in person? Do you have any reflections from the presentation of Dr. Hari Purna? We have time, so okay, please, Pasang. please use the microphone so that our friends can hear us.
Yeah. Hello. I think I know. Yeah. Pasang Durma Sherpa from CIPRED, Center for Indigenous People Research and Development. Um, Actually, my question also related with earlier speaker also. I did not have much time, so one of our presenter here, and also linking with a presentation with the Dr. Hari. Thank you so much for the presentation. I think the presentation from Dr. Pasang this morning and Dr. Our two other colleagues, I feel like now we are bringing the paradigm shift, that in the journey of the research and inside stories telling, the unheard stories, as mentioned from by also by Dr. Biswa and Dr. Hari also indicated that how we are trying to capture the unheard voice, the voice that has been misinterpreted, misused, and also reinterpreted, and in the course of the interpretation, sometimes the essence of the beauty of reality is often overshadowed from different perception and different views and lenses that has brought up by the academic institution shaped by colonial perception, and that has been somehow has been kind of a process for long time, as already mentioned by three speakers. No, my query is for three of you actually, because we did not have time on this morning. One of the things because this PhD is also a kind of following the same trend as modern education, kind of following the same path, the same stair we try to climb up. And often we are also guided from the same methodology. We try to bring the reality, obviously trying to give our inside stories, but we are also not free from the generic trend, referring all these different authors, theorists, and then also going through all the publications, journals, and then often our work is being reviewed by someone who have different lenses. So how justice we are doing ourselves, how justice we are trying to bring the change and the paradigm shift on the ground, how justice we are doing to bring the voice and in academic circle from seeing from different lenses. So that is also things that we need to question among ourselves. For me, like, I have somewhere, in our proverbs in my language, sometimes if you put your 2 foot in the different boat, somewhere you end nowhere. But despite that, despite that proverbs, I try to put my foot in one foot in reality on the ground, and another is in academic and all this global discourse, thinking that, somewhere I can play the role of bridging the gap, that how we can have not following the same trend without being us in the trapped, but at the same time bringing the voice, the importance of reality that has been under shadow or behind the curtain for generation and generation in the discourse of developments of modern science or modern process of research. So my question for three of our earlier distinguished speaker, your experiences actually, I have already experienced because every time when you do our PhD, we have to write journal articles. In the course of writing journal articles, I have contributed not much in the journal articles, maybe 3-4 journal articles, but I have contributed many research articles, even the books and even articles, stories. That is what the CIPRED is doing. Uh, because sometimes when we write a journal article, our real stories is somewhere, is mixed somewhere. And then by the time you read your own journal article, you feel your voice is disappear. And this is the journal articles that is been quoted and quoted and quoted, and how justice we are doing ourselves, our communities. So that is the questions for all of us in academic circles, no? So I think we need to be really, really true. If we really want to bring paradigm shift, I think this trend, we need to question this trend, and we need to come up with a trend that, forget about all these kind of hierarchical, all this approach, but we have to dare to bring our own trend, make sure that our voice is not being manipulated in the name of peer review or, so many layers of inputs, and by someone who doesn't have that lenses and worldviews. So this is what I would like to, throw out my questions to the earlier speakers, your experiences, how you are true to your ground reality in the name of this academic production of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pasang. And that question, we'll give time to Dr. Harry first, and then we'll ask Dr. Biswaranjan and also Dr. Pasang Yangji, if she's still there, later on. But I'd like to open the floor for one more question, so that, and then we'll give the floor to our speakers. If there's any other question, maybe in Zoom or on site. Yes, Dr. Ruth.
One of the things that have been pointed out here is a paradigm shift. And among the things that you pointed out is, for example, the indigenization of theory. And I'm very interested in how you have operationalized this kind of indigenization in your own work, so that probably we can learn from how you've done it, and probably it's useful in our own work as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth. In the interest of time, I'm going to call on Dr. Harry first. So there are two questions, Dr. Harry. First is from Pasang Dolma. And this is about the question of how, while we are trying to bring paradigm shift and also raising the voices of the unheard, of the indigenous peoples, how are we bringing justice? Actually, if we are doing this within the same standards that is being imposed upon us by the Western and Eurocentric educational system. And the second one is, how are you operationalizing indigenization of theories in indigenous studies? So back to you, Dr. Harry.
Thanks. In relation to the first questions, I'm not quite sure since I haven't received any published article yet. So I was trying actually to publish my thesis as a book. So it was not article based, it was basically the traditional thesis. So what I find the beauty of traditional thesis is, if you want to draw a bigger picture and detailed picture, so you need like the bigger spaces. So the traditional thesis or like the book type, I think that's the one kind of the space you will get. I mean, spaces to tell your story, and also since I use the narrative kind of studies, so I am a bit biased to that kind of methods or methodology. So, and how they relate these indigenous peoples. So how we know actually the unity or how we transfer the knowledge or the unity of the work. And even in science, a good story is also the theory talks about it. So I think the narratives or telling the people stories and positioning or people in their stories, I think there's a one way of doing, I think, this uh, 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 research and also it relates to this. We have to tell our stories in, and also from the perspective of the people, how they want actually to tell the story. So I think that's there also to the second question. If I remember.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Harry. I noted that Dr. Pasangyangji is already not online. Of course, it's past midnight their time. But we have Dr. Biswaranjan on site. So do you also want to respond to the questions, Dr. Biswaran? No.
Uh, okay, I think what Dr. Pasang has raised the question, that's a very important question. And it's an often an question that is being raised by many scholars. Especially these scholars, what I come across is not often being raised so much by the non-indigenous scholars, I must say very clearly. And this is a scholar that has been raised by many indigenous scholars around the world. Even for me, all of us, while we are, of course, I have written some couple of writings I have in my, in my career. Uh, we have all gone through a lot of struggles in being able to do that. Of course, we don't have anybody as a godfather. So everybody, most of the non-indigenous have their own godfather, in a way to be able to publish their papers, books, or in articles. So in that context, we struggle a lot, right? So actually the language of decolonization, comes from there, comes from the experiences of many indigenous scholars. Then if you read the book of Linda Smith, she also very brilliantly speaks all these experiences. And further, there are a lot of other indigenous, the decolonial scholars who also speaks around these ideas. So two things that you were raising a question. One is about, uh, I'm part of the network of this decolonial group, along with other people in the United Kingdom also, where a lot of discussion around this thing is happening on decolonizing the supervisory process. Now this language has been spoken, because I have seen many of my colleagues and friends, those who have been supervised by non-indigenous professors from universities from around the world, who of course, I was so fortunate that I have a good supervisor, and many of them, I saw them changing, a lot of this, so much of frustration in them, working for 1, 2 years with them, and finally changing the supervision. Okay. So these are all unheard stories, often scholars will never speak about it because they quietly want to finish their PhD. Yeah. So these are so it's important. At least I'm now supervising the students. So I'm very particular on this case while supervising with students. While my kind of uh, process that leads to supervisory for a PhD, for a doctorate degree. So I think all the language of decolonization that we are talking about, theorizing, coloniality of power, colonial